In the Detroit Pistons' first Summer League game, Ron Holland absolutely dominates and shows off a new improved jumper. We'll break it all down. Today's episode, Locked On Pistons Podcast. Let's go.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I am your host, Ku Khahil. I've been covering the Detroit Pistons for the Locked On Network over the last 4 years, been credential media member over the last 3 years. I appreciate all the everydayers, everyone who makes Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons, hit that subscribe button, or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDNBA for $20 off your first purchase. If you want to watch any of the future Summer League games, we are streaming all of them over on the Playback room. We watched Game 1. It was a lot of fun. If you want to join Game 2, Game 3, Game 4, I'll link the Playback down below. Also, if you want to check out the SUBSTACK, well, I'll have some film breakdowns coming of some of the Summer League games. Also, we'll have written breakdowns of whatever's going on throughout the rest of the summer. We're going to review some games from this past season as well, so make sure you guys check that out as well. I'll link all of that in the description down below. Coming up in today's episode, did Bobi Klintman impress in the first Summer League game? We'll talk about Chaz Lanier and Daniss Jenkins, how they played, but we're going to obviously start with how well Ron Holland played in this game against the New York Knicks, the Pistons' first Summer League game. Right off the top, Ron made it very clear that he's too good for Summer League. Like, I said this ahead of time. I was kind of shocked that Ron was even going to play in Summer League. I felt like he was just too good to play. But he did. He put up a stat line of 28 points, 11 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 assists, a block, shot 8 of 12 from the field, 4 threes, got to the free throw line 13 times. He was absolutely dominant. He was the best player on the floor, either team, and it's good to see that. He should be. He should look like he's playing with kids out there. That's what you want to see out of your second-year player. Show that you don't deserve to be here. You're an NBA player. You're a good NBA player. This is too easy for you. And that's what Ron did. He came out here and just made it look way, way too easy. We'll get to the jump shooting, but that's not actually, no, let me not lie. Jump shooting is probably number one of the things that you take away from this. But there's something else I actually wanted to talk about a little bit more with Ron. There were quite a few passes Ron had in this game that really had me like, okay, that was impressive. If you guys remember, before Summer League started, I came on here and I said, what do I want to see from Ron if he does play? And I said I didn't want to see him, I didn't really care to see him drive to the basket, finish at the hoop, dunk on somebody, show off some good touch around the rim. Because I know he has that. We already know he can drive. We already know he can finish at the rim. We already know he can dunk on somebody. We already know that. What I wanted to see Ron do was show us some stuff that maybe wasn't already in his bag or something that he doesn't feel the most confident with in the NBA setting, and use the Summer League as a place to practice it and use it in a live game setting. And some of the passes he had really impressed me. Now, he only had 2 assists in this game, 2 assists to 4 turnovers, so that wasn't great. But some of the reads he was making, a lot of his passes didn't turn into buckets. And first of all, his interior passing right out the gate was really good. He was getting to the basket and dumping it off to Tolu Smith, dumping it off to Bobi Klintman. I thought he was doing a great job of attracting the second defender and then making that extra dump-off pass. He had another really good drive in the second half, crossed somebody up, went down the middle of the key, and just threw an inaccurate pass to a dump-off with his left hand, but it was a great read. I love the read. I love the process. Just the pass wasn't too accurate, but I will take that. You can work on accuracy with your passes. The processing, I love to see this because Ron, even going back to G League, he did show off some passes, but he's never been like this guy, and I don't think he'll ever be like a playmaker, but he's never been this guy that's, you're looking at him to be this great processor or this great playmaker or whatever. He's someone who's going out there and score the basketball. And I've said during his entire rookie season that you want that to remain the case, but you need to have counters off of that as a playmaker when the defense does show attention to you. And something he didn't really have during his rookie year, in this Summer League game, multiple passes I absolutely loved seeing from, especially in the interior. The interior dump-offs, those were really nice to see. He had another drive down the right slot area, drove right down the right slot, went to do a whip-around skip corner pass, was inaccurate and turned it over, But the corner pass was there. He just didn't. It wasn't accurate. He turned it over on it. But the corner skip was the read. The weak side defender tagged down, and he had to get the pass there. Again, the process I was seeing from him as a passer is more important to me than the accuracy. If he was getting turnovers off of just fumbling the ball and trying to drive it to the basket, that'd be different. Him getting turnovers off of making the right read and just not delivering it accurately, he's 20 years old. You can work with it. He can get better as a accurate passer. I just want to see the process improve, and the process did look much improved in this game. There was actually one drive. I mean, if I can get the clip of it. Right now, NBA.com doesn't have clips of the game. So if I can get the clip of this, I really want to tweet this one out and break this one down. There was one drive Ron had in the second half where he crossed somebody up at the top of the key, gave him a step back hezzy, then drove on him, got all the way to the rim, drew in 3 defenders, just a great ball handling move. Got all the way to the rim. 3 defenders came into the paint. The corner skip was wide open, and if he would have made that pass, I would have passed out. If he would have made that read, I would have been like, okay, that was a fantastic. Not only did you put all your effort into breaking down the defender and getting to the basket on a great move, you still had your eyes up enough to find this next read. That would have shown me some crazy stuff. Now, he didn't do that, but I'm just saying, like, that was an opportunity. Because of the passes he'd made earlier in the game, I was like, oh my, okay, is he going to make this one? He didn't make this one, but it's a work in progress. You're seeing it get better. So that's the part I, walked away feeling the best about. You guys know I'm great. I love the process. I love seeing guys develop their processing speed and make the right reads. That's like the big thing for me, and Ron was doing that throughout this night, despite having a negative turnover to assist ratio. The reads were there. And then obviously we have to talk about the jump shot. He didn't just hit catch and shoot threes. He hit 2 step back threes. He hit a pull up 3. He hit a movement 3. The shot, Ron's shot doesn't look, even going back to his rookie year, the shot didn't look like the form wasn't awful. What's the right? How do you say it? The fluidity of the energy from his legs to his body, like his upper body, wasn't always there. It looks a little wonky, but the form itself hasn't looked bad. Now, the stream we were watching it on during the playback room yesterday, for some reason, playback had the stream was like 480 quality or something. Like, I don't know what was up with it yesterday. Usually it's great, but I don't know what was going on yesterday. So it was hard to get like the best look at the jumper. I watched a little bit of it afterwards on some highlights. I felt like watching the jumper, to me, it looked like his elbow was tucked in a little bit more, and it was lined, like his elbow and his forearm was more lined up right in front of his right eye a little bit more than it was before. I felt like before it was a little bit more loosey with it. It looked a little bit more compact, and the energy movement was much more fluid from his legs to his upper body. At least from what I saw in the first game. Now everyone's gonna hyperanalyze it. I'm hyperanalyzing it right now. But the shot looked good. It went down, shot 4 of 3 from deep. I thought it looked better. It is summer league. We're not going to go too crazy and say he's a 40% 3-point shooter now. But I felt like I could already see some of the work Fred Vincent's done with him playing out. I thought the form looked a little different. Thought the energy movement was much more improved. He looked way more confident in it too. Like he was dicing dudes up, step back behind the back, hitting fadeaway threes. Like he looked really confident in it. So I think a lot of people felt like Ron could develop a jumper. I'm interested, obviously, to see if this is something that can translate to like the preseason, to training camp, to the regular season. But so far, so good in the first summer league game. Ron looked fantastic in this game, jump shooting wise. I thought the passing reads I really loved seeing that. And obviously, the rest of the stuff we already knew about Ron. He's a dog. He's going to play aggressive, nonstop, defense, offensively, on the boards. Doesn't matter if he's playing with me and you, summer league, training camp, preseason. Doesn't matter where he's playing. He's going to play all out, dive from the floor, like all that stuff. We already know about that with him. And it was a crazy stat line he put up. But the reads he was making off a live dribble was my biggest takeaway. And then obviously the jump shot just looks better at this point on July 11th. So let me know, comment section down below or over on Twitter at Ku Khahil, how you feel about Ron Holland's first game with the Summer League. Do you think he should play even further? I don't know if we'll see him again, but let me know if you guys want to see him play even more. But coming up, we'll discuss Bobi Klintman, which I think is the next player people were probably wanting to see the most from and wanting to talk about. We'll break down how he looked coming up. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends and family? Maybe it's a game day, and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without all the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to the first pitch. And they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying tickets. I'm a procrastinator. I wait to the last second with everything. It's something I got to get better at. It made getting tickets so stressful. With Game Time, like I just said, it's great. You get to see the view from your seat right within the app, and you get last-minute deals. So if you do wait to the last second, you still get a great deal on your tickets. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed with Game Time. So I want to thank you guys again for being Locked On Pistons, your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. Check out the links down below, the Substack. Well, I'll try to have, if I can get the clips. I've been looking for the clips to this game. Usually NBA.com or a few other sites have clips, but maybe Summer League they don't. It might make it harder for me to break down some of the plays I wanted to break down, but I'll be on Substack with either a written breakdown or a film breakdown soon over Summer League, so check that out. Playback room down below if you want to watch the games with us moving forward the rest of the Summer League. And then also I'll put my Twitch down below. You guys know I like the game, so I'm going to start streaming some games. If you guys want to come hang out with me, check it out. All right, so Bobi Klintman. Later on, we'll talk about Chaz. I know I was big on wanting to see what Chaz looked like in this first game. We will talk about him. And Daniss Jenkins. Look, we'll get to it. Those guys will be brought up. But Bobi Klintman. Bobi is a player, after watching all of last Summer League and then watching game one of this game, or of this Summer League, Bobi is a player I so very much want to be good. Like, I want Bobi to be good so badly because of what we talked about in the first segment. You guys know, if you've been a long-term listener of the podcast, you guys know, probably when I look at prospects, when I'm scouting prospects in the summer, hopefully we won't be doing that very often anymore because of the Pistons being very good. But during the years where the Pistons obviously were not good and they were getting top draft picks, you guys know when I look at prospects, one of the first things I looked for in a prospect and what I guess what do they call like your favorite attribute to look for? Like it makes you have a soft side where you maybe you value that a little bit more than everything else. So I don't know what the exact word is for it, but you guys know that I'm big into processing. If a guy's making the right reads, he shows fast processing speed. He's seeing the game well. He's making the right decisions. Like that kind of thing. You guys know I'm huge on that. And Bobi Klintman for 2 summer leagues now has shown me nonstop that he has some really good off-ball playmaking. He's even shown in this summer league a few passes off the bounce on a live dribble, making the right read, driving to the basket, making the corner skip pass off a pick and roll on the left side of the floor. He ran a pick and roll flowing to his left, tagging defender on the weak side, came down. He throws a 2-hand overhead skip pass to the corner. Fantastic read. He had another one when he throws a behind the back dump off pass when he gets down the right lane to Tolu Smith and gets him a layup. Another one he throws a bounce pass down the baseline to a cutting. Like Bobi Klintman, he sees the floor very well. And as a passer, as a playmaker, he sees the floor. And I would almost say he kind of sees things ahead of time. And I love that about him. I love the processing. I love the playmaking. He had 5 assists in this game, 2 turnovers. His overall stat line was 10 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Shot 3 of 7 from the field, 1 of 3 from deep, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. So he had a good game. He had a good game in Summer League. And everything we already knew about Bobi, he already showed us. Like, he showed us again. The passing, like I said, was great. I thought he was even more active on the glass. I loved seeing that. But everything that everyone's like going to talk about with Bobi that everyone loved is just the passing, the decision making. Everyone already talking about it. And that's why I want him to be good so badly. Because there is a player there. When you feel the game that well, when you see the game that well, I'm just going to believe that you can put it together. Not everybody has that kind of feel and are able to see the game. So I very much want him to be good. The problem for me is this. While he had a good summer league game, it's not like he played bad for summer league. I don't know if he played good in context of, again, not in summer league context, but in context of we need to see this to feel like you could be the backup four at the next level. And the things that I feel like you want to see to feel comfortable about that are still work in progress right now. I'll go through and list I was taking notes. I was on live, like I said, with the playback room, and we were taking notes during the game. I have them right here. One of the first things I noticed, I wrote down, because I wasn't just, like I said, the passing I already knew about. Why I love seeing it, and it makes it fun to watch in the summer league. I already knew about it. One of the things I wrote down here is his inability to attack closeouts and get separation on those on closeouts. So what I'm talking about here is he had a few times when they would, someone would pass him the ball at the top of the key, and he would pump fake, which was a good move, get a defender in the air, and drive, and it looks like he has an advantage, like the defender is off his feet, or the defender closed out way too hard, and you think that Bobi should be able to take this closeout and at least get all the way to the rim and then kick to somebody. But still, he attacks the closeout, and he loses the advantage. A lot of times, if you go back and watch the game, so many times he stopped in like the dotted area, jump stop and turned his back to the rim, try to, fake it with his right hand, pump fake, and then try to do a spin move off a jump stop, and then he ends up stuck in the middle of the lane. That happened probably 4 or 5 times, and that's because his inability to create space off of attacking those closeouts. You think that you think that Bobi should be able to take advantage of the advantage he creates. In the Summer League in his first game and in the G League all last year, if you watched some of his games, I watched a few of the games. I'm friends with someone who watched all the games, and he was telling me throughout the year about it. That was one of the things he struggled with, was actually creating separation and attacking closeouts. And that's the next thing I wrote here, is that he still struggles to create separation. Now, this so much you don't really, now it's just one Summer League game. Maybe in the future games he starts to do it more. Maybe it's just a confidence thing. This I don't really care too much for. I don't need to see him creating one-on-one moves. Like, I don't care about that. But he does still lack to create separation. My biggest thing is the attacking closeouts. Because if he's going to be like this playmaking, kind of four that has a three-point shot, he needs to be super deadly from three, and then he needs to be able to pump fake, drive, and then either kick out or finish at the rim. That's something he needs to be able to do. And he still was not able to really take advantage of the hard closeouts that that people were having against him. That's what I'm going to be watching for the rest of Summer League. Can you attack closeouts and keep the advantage and then make the right play off of it? I don't doubt that if he keeps the advantage that he'll be able to make the right pass once he gets to the rim. I don't doubt that at all. I don't doubt that maybe he'll be able to finish at the rim on a few of these attempts. Don't doubt that at all. There were multiple times yesterday where he drove and it looked like, okay, this should at least be a foul at the rim or a layup. And somehow he's lost the advantage. He has to pick up the dribble in front of the key and now has to, throw a lob pass back to the top of the key and reset the offense. So that was the first thing that I saw that I was a little bit disappointed in, and makes it hard for me to feel like, okay, he can do this against the NBA level talent. The other thing was, people are going to see his 2 steals in the block. He was active on defense, but his closeouts on defense were not very good at all either. Like, he was going out, flying all the way out there, allowing dribble penetration. Again, he was active off ball. He had a few passing lane steals, which was cool to see. But he needs to be able to stay in front of defenders or in front of offensive players if he's going to play at the NBA level, especially on closeouts. Closeouts can't be immediate dribble penetration every time. And I thought his closeouts were really disappointing in that first game. So, again, it's the first Summer League game. We'll see if it's something he improves on. I'm sure the coaching staff is pointing this stuff out to him all summer. All that, I'm sure he's working on it. But that's why I want Bobi to be good, because there's a player there. He is active on the glass. He is a really good playmaker for his size. Has a nice enough handle for someone his size to take advantage of the playmaking. Like, there is a smart basketball player in there. There 100% is. But he has to be able to do these things. You're not asking for him to be an isolation player. You're not asking him to be a 20-point per game scorer. But, like, for example, someone that popped in my head yesterday watching the game. Now, this may not be the greatest example, but it's just someone that popped in my head for a comparison. Boris Diaw. Like, Boris Diaw had enough playmaking. He was much bigger and stronger. But, like, he wasn't an ISO guy. He was a really good playmaker. Attack, closeouts, pump fake, drive, make the right read off of it. But he was able to keep those advantages when especially, I'm probably thinking more of his time with the Spurs. I'm sure there's probably some older listeners that are thinking of his time with the Suns. They're like, he probably was able to do this, that, and that. What? I'm thinking about him with the Spurs when he was still a good player, but it was like in this minimized role. But yeah, he was like this playmaking guy that was able to attack closeouts, make the right read, and keep these advantages going. If Bobi can be that, like a lesser version of that, that would be fantastic. So that's what I'm watching for. Playmaking was good. He was active on the glass. He had a few good passing lane steals, but he needs to get better at attacking closeouts, keeping advantages, keeping that separation, I should say, on the closeouts when he attacks them, and then stay in front of the player you're guarding on defense. The closeouts have to be better, and stop allowing dribble penetration. That's the two things I'm watching for with Bobi. So did he play well in Summer League context? Yes. Did he showcase the passing and the playmaking that we all know he has? 100%. I'm still waiting to see these other things that he has to be able to do for him to be the backup for the Detroit Pistons. I'm hoping we see it in the next few games because, again, I want him to be good. This is the type of player that I like. The playmaker, processor, that's my favorite kind of player. Please just show us the other stuff so I can feel good about it. Please, I very much want Bobi to be a good player. So let me know, comment section down below or over on Twitter at Ku Khahil. How did you feel about Bobi Klintman's first game this year in Summer League? What were your takeaways, positives, negatives? Do you guys agree with me, disagree? Again, comment section down below or over on Twitter at Ku Khahil. Coming up, Chaz Lanier and Daniss Jenkins were the next two guys I think everyone cares about. To be honest, and no disrespect, but I think those are the only other two guys anyone does care about. So we'll break down their games. One of them, until round took off, one of them looked like potentially the best player on the floor. We'll tell you who that was coming up. So I want to thank you guys again. Make Locked On Pistons your first listen every single day. We're free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. All right, so we're going to start off with Chaz. I talked about Chaz a lot over the last week about who I wanted to see the most in Summer League. I wanted to see take advantage of Summer League the most. It was Chaz. It was Chaz. It was Chaz. And I don't need to go into a full explanation of why that is. I told you guys that many times. His movement shooting, how elite of a shooter I was told he was, and his ability to maybe step right in and be that guy that you want off the bench as this spark plug, elite shooter that just gets the shots up and can drain them. Disappointing first game from Chaz. Few things. He looks very uncomfortable with the ball in his hands in that first game. I don't know. Maybe it was just jitters. Maybe it was just him being nervous. But he did not look comfortable with the ball in his hands when it comes to like dribbling the ball and handling the ball. He did not look very comfortable. He was not nearly. He shot 4 of 11, 2 of 7 from deep. But most of those shots, I feel like a lot of those shots came in the end of the game when he kind of was just getting some shots up and lack of transition defense. He was not nearly as aggressive I thought he was going to be with the shot. Now, I hope that he is in the next few games, because when you are that elite of a shooter, you should be letting it should be flying. You should be getting it up there, especially when guys give you room and you get a clean look. There was 2 shots I can think of right now that had me like, oh my God, what happened? Left wing, 1 shot from the left wing, and then 1 shot coming off a pick and roll at the top of the key. Wide open shots. He looked like he was going to go into the shot and then stopped, second-guessed himself, and then kicked it out. I'm like, no, you have to shoot those. Those ones are ones you have to let fly. When you are that elite of a shooter, you get that space. As soon as you get it, it's going up. Those ones need to be flying. So he wasn't nearly as aggressive of a three-point shooter as I wanted to see him be in this game. He should have had 11 threes in this game. He should have. He should have had 11 threes. He had multiple chances to get something up with a clean look. And he hesitated. He didn't really like what he saw, I guess. So that kind of speaks to maybe some jitters, maybe lack of confidence in the first game. I don't know. But I didn't like that. Defensively, some good and some bad. He got stuck on some screens a lot at the point of attack. I thought his wingspan, though, did pop off the screen a few times when he tipped a ball in the passing lanes or was able to contest a shot at the rim or help on the glass. I thought his wingspan did pop it a few times, so I noticed that. That's good to see. But yeah, man, and I will say this, the Pistons did not run a lot of movement actions for him. At the very end of the game, they did start to run some movement actions for him. Like in the final 2 minutes, they did, and he wasn't hitting a lot of them. But throughout the game, I was expecting to see a lot of like pin downs and running off screens, catching and shooting, DHOs. Like that's what I was expecting to see. They just didn't run a lot of stuff for him. So it wasn't like he had I still feel like he had like 4 extra shots he could have taken that he backed out of. But it wasn't like he was made a focal point and was given the chance to like really get shots up that way. I hope we see more of that moving forward. But definitely not the greatest game from Chaz. Looked nervous, was not comfortable with the ball in his hands, and passed up. Like, if you watch his Tennessee highlights, those shots that I'm talking about that he passed up, those would have been he would have got those shots up before I could even blink. Like, he would have let it go. So hopefully it's just the first game jitters, and he looks better as the Summer League plays out. He needs to be, I want him to be getting up 10 threes. He could have easily got 10 threes up in this game. Just not the greatest first game, but it is his first game, so we'll see how it plays out. Daniss Jenkins, though, he looked fantastic. You want to talk about who was the second best player on the floor? By far, Jenkins. He was great. Now, I'm not sure. I was looking this up. I'm not sure if his two-way contract is he was extended a qualifying offer. That's what it was. I would definitely bring him back. He was really, really impressive. Aggressive as a scorer. Extremely aggressive as a scorer. It looked a lot stronger, was bullying people on drives. Some really filthy layups at the rim. Some fake passes and then laying it up with the left. He had another one where he kind of like, it was kind of like a jab euro at the rim. Fake pass, euroed around, and then finished on the same foot, same hand. Some absolutely filthy finishes around the rim. Hit 3 threes in this game, 3 of 5. Was talking trash the entire game to the Knicks. Had some really good passes as well that some people just didn't finish. Was active on defense as well. Like he finished with 18 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal. And was talking trash throughout the whole night. He looked really, really good in this game. He looked like an NBA player by far. Like if you would have watched this game and you took the names off the back of the jersey, you had no idea who was Ron Holland, who was Chaz, who was Bobi, who was Jenkins. If you had no idea and people just said, who were the 2 guys you felt like looked like NBA players? Who were the guys? I tell you there's 2 NBA players on the floor. Who are they? You would have said Ron and you would have said Jenkins. Jenkins was fantastic in this game. Felt very comfortable, was never rushed by the defense. The ball handle was tight. Again, never rushed, ran the offense smoothly, looked under control, looked composed, looked like a veteran out there. And it's not like how old is Dan? He's not too old. Yeah, 23. He is a vet out there, but you want to see someone like that look like, I'm composed. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm better than this. This kind of thing. And he looked like that. Absolutely loved it. He had, I know I mentioned this a few minutes ago. He had a few bully drives when he just drove and looked like he had Hall of Fame bully on, just moved guys out the way and just finished at the rim. Like he was extremely impressive in this game. I would 100%, just one game was already enough for me to be like, yeah, keep him on the roster. I'd like to see him in preseason. He looked much, much improved, much better. I really liked what we saw from Jenkins. I am really interested to see what we see from the rest of the Summer League because that was in just 21 minutes of action too. He played the least amount of any starter for the Pistons yesterday. And if it wasn't for Ron taking off, I thought there was a good chunk of the game where he looked like the best player on the floor. So that maybe could be a gem of a find. Maybe that's one of the, how we've been saying we wish the Pistons could find like a good 2-way player that eventually turns into a contract and rotation player, or just at least like a back end of your bench kind of player that you trust. Hey, maybe it's Jenkins. Maybe a lot of these teams find them. Pistons haven't been able to find one like this. Maybe it's Jenkins. I loved what I saw from him. I'm actually excited to watch him now in the rest of the Summer League games. So let me know, comment section down below, or over on Twitter at Ku Khahil, how you guys felt about the first Summer League game from the Pistons. How you felt about Ron's performance, Chaz, Bobi, Daniss Jenkins. How you felt about all of their performances. Let me know, comment section down below, or over on Twitter at Ku Khahil. That's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. Free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, leave us a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Stay safe out there. And until next time, peace out, everybody.